This is the story of a brand new team on the Texas scene, the Dallas Cowboys. They knew it would be a tough row to hoe, starting from scratch in an attempt to match the mighty aggregations of the National Football League. But the Cowboy management also knew that Texas fans wouldn't settle for anything less than the world's best football.
It was football in Texas, and I used to say that, you know, there were probably three things that were important in Texas. You know, business, football, and religion. And in some respects, you know, football and religion were sort of intertwined.
The valiant comeback was shackled when Tom Brown intercepted the beleaguered Meredith's fourth down pass. It was a tough end to a long season.
We've been the losers, the bridesmaids, the whole bit, and next year's champions. And it was pretty frustrating for people like myself who'd been there a long time.
Next year's champions can't win the big one. We heard that more than we wanted to.
Hard Stars all set. 16 seconds left. Stars in. Touchdown. The crowd has gone wild and run on the field. Well, the Cowboys so close again.
Next year's champions, or we couldn't win the big game, and you know, it was a compliment that we were a winning team. It's really negative when you have that thing hanging over your head that you can't win the big game.
All tied up at 13-13. 9 seconds showing on the clock. There is the snap. The kick is up. It is long enough. It is.
We didn't lose the game. We gave it away. Yeah, with turnovers and things that really shouldn't happen to a good team like we were.
We lost, and then, you know, then you develop that taste, and at that point, you know exactly what you have to do to get there and win it.
So we got together, you know, after we had lost that game, and we said, hey man, we can win this thing. We can win it all.
But the pressure was building from the fans, from the media, and from themselves.
You had to experience the stares when you go into a shopping center. You go into a mall and shop, and people turn around and look at you, and they kind of turn their nose down at you.
Not that they were close enough that I could hear it, because I don't think they would have said it to my face and if I'd have been close enough to touch them, you know, because they probably wouldn't have liked the results. There was just like a negative connotation every time, everywhere you went. Even the players on other teams, when you go to the Pro Bowl, would say, you guys just aren't tough enough to win. And I'm thinking, you don't even know what tough is.
What we said was, hey, you know, let's commit ourselves, let's dedicate ourselves in training camp to work toward getting to the ultimate goal. And that was back to the Super Bowl.
But the '71 season didn't exactly start that way.
Flutie flushed, throws it down. Caught by Boston College. I don't believe it. It's a touchdown. The Eagles win it.
Lets it fly. Oh my goodness! Touchdown LSU!
It's caught by the Browns. The Cleveland Browns have won the game on a 56-yard touchdown.
The ball's up in the air. Caught. Touchdown. Caught by Westbrook for a touchdown. They call it in some circles the Hail Mary.
There have been plenty of imitations over the years, but 30 years ago, in 1975, the Dallas Cowboys pulled off the original Hail Mary, perhaps the most famous pass in NFL history.
30 years ago, and people are still talking about it and still upset.
I think that play really was a very important play in Cowboy history.
It was one of the biggest disappointments that I ever had, at least as an assistant coach.
Roger Staubach and Drew Pearson led a young, hungry Cowboys team into the first round of the '75 playoffs, but they weren't given much of a chance against the 12-2 Vikings.
Fred Cox is ready to kick off. Preston Pearson and Doug Dennison deep for the Cowboys.
The Vikings were heavily favored up in Minnesota, and I think they were getting ready to play the Rams next week.
You're looking to the #1 defensive team in the entire National Football League, the Minnesota Vikings. This year with 46 sacks, 28 interceptions, #1 in every category, the rush, the pass, and overall.
I've never said that any one group or any team was the best of all time, but that was one of the best.